You doing this fine night? We are back. Welcome back, Phil.
Night? It's not night where I am. It's the middle of the day.
Well, to be fair, it's always the middle of the day for you this time of year.
This time of year, that's true. This time of year. Yeah. All right, I'm just refreshing screens here to make sure we're live. I'm getting it on the YouTubes. So I'm in there watching the live chat.
Sweet.
In the chat. I'm in there.
I'm going to share this. We're going to take minutes and share this thing. Excuse me.
Let's see here.
I always forget which one I'm supposed to share.
So if you're watching right now, we could use some feedback. Whether I'm watching YouTube, are you going to be able to watch Facebook at the same time or not?
Yeah, I can have
Probably
some
not.
Facebook. I can watch some Facebook.
Shoot us a message or shoot us something. Let us know. We're not using our typical equipment. Obviously, we're not in our typical locations. We probably need some feedback about sound.
My typical location is no more. I have a brand new location.
He's still got to get his studio set up. Mine's still the same.
I had to drive to town for my hotspot to get enough internet. So, needless to say, things has changed.
Changed a little bit. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed that you weren't gonna do a live show from the military wagon.
Well, you know, we could definitely do that when it gets a little cooler. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I spend as little time in Exodus, we call her, aka the War Pig, that as I can, because 2,000 miles in that very hot box was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
I know we've got service members that watch this page, so I can't cry too loud, but it was a lot.
Yeah, well, I've been to some very hot places in the world, and the state of Missouri really does hold up to her name in the summer.
Dude, I gotta tell you that I'm very few of us here actually call it the state of Missouri. I like it here.
Sounds like freedom right now, right? It's a state of freedom.
State of freedom, man. Free State Homestead. I would, if you're watching this, would you please go over to the YouTube channel and subscribe to Free State Homestead? We're gonna have tons and tons of content coming out. I've been posting some shorts, but the main videos will get posted on our Patreon page a day before I post them to my YouTube page, because that is for our patrons. I promise that. Those of you who have been giving, even though we've been shut down for the last couple months, thank you so much, you guys. Patrons are the best. The break is over. We're going to get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Yeah. So I think somebody, I'm getting that Facebook user silliness again. Someone is prepped for a swim meet. And someone else, Facebook user, says, sounds good on FB. And then another Facebook user says, great, gotta run, gents. So whoever you people are, we love you. I'm guessing there's at least one Kelly Bacon, maybe, is one of those people, but we'll see. Anyway, dude, we got a lot to talk about, and we don't have a whole lot of time to do it because I got to get to a softball game for my niece, because that's a thing now. Pretty exciting. But we were not going to let another Friday go by and not have a show. So those are all me, Kelly Bacon. Okay, cool. Thanks, Kelly. So anyway, dude, where do you want to start? Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with knocking on the door of World War III? Do you want to start with Uvalde? Do you want to start with what do you want to start with?
I think most people have already beat that to death, from what I can see.
Dude, I gotta tell you, man, I watched I watched a post about Uvalde this morning from Glover, the guy that
Did you watch that? I shut it off after about a minute. I read 4 comments and I was like, I don't have time for this.
No, I did. Well, I watched the short one and I started the long one while I was on my bike ride this morning. Did almost 5 miles today. Very exciting in the stupid heat. But anyway, I thought he just absolutely nails it. Like he just absolutely, he nails it. Yeah, he comes at it.
Him.
Yeah, they were flogging him pretty bad from the day before. But basically, no, he ripped them a new one, and I think that the bottom line of all of it is, and why it's worth mentioning on a prepper podcast, is no one's coming to help you.
No.
They let those babies die for 77 minutes before
they let their coworkers, wives, and children die in front of them.
Absolutely.
What absolute cowards.
Absolute cowards. When a bunch of non-tactical Border Patrol agents showed up, they didn't even inform them that children were being killed, that children had been killed. They didn't inform them of any of that. They just got out of the way, let them go in. Three agents that had no business. One guy picked up a ballistic shield, and 2 guys stacked up behind him. They breached. They killed the asshole, and they put him in the ground. And then they were completely taken aback by the fact that they were surrounded by dead kids. They had no idea what they were walking into. Those absolute monsters let that happen. So I only bring it up, and I think it's worth mentioning on a prepper podcast. No one is coming. You need to understand that is during the rule of law.
Still let their children go to a public school is where I'm losing it. I'm losing the ability to do that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. We're gonna hear more and more people. A lot of people have gone to their schools and said, "What are you doing to prevent this from happening?" And those are some really easy things to answer too.
Absolutely.
Because even if you're doing wrong things, they should be doing something. Everyone has to do something now.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, the standard answer most parents are being given is, "Well, we're really supporting gun control."
Right. And it's wait, what? No.
So
no, I think what you have to take away from Uvalde, what you have to take away from all the other shootings that are happening right now, whether it's
the Texans think they are.
Say that again. I got to turn you up, man. You're not loud enough. Hold on. I got to get you louder.
Texans all think that they are. It's easy for me to do, so let me know. Texans all think that they're in a very pro-gun state, right? They think that they're very safe there because they're very conservative, right? The reality is Texas is not that conservative of a state.
Dude, it's purple, man. Texas is
gun
purple.
Laws in Texas are way worse than even Oregon, which is a fallen socialist state at this point. But you know what? At least
the gun laws in Oregon are going to change and become archaic California in the next 6 months. There's no question about that. Do me a favor and boost your volume on your end for me. I'm pushing you as hard as I can.
I got lots of it here. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about. We talk for episode after episode after episode, but the reality is the most important thing out of all of this is the terminal list.
All right. Valid.
We were intending on doing that book series right up to and leading up to the release of the series.
Yeah, but then I had to go. We both bugged out. We both bugged out of where we were living. You just bugged out to the other side of town.
In a different way. Yeah, I downsized. I went to cheaper and significantly safer location.
Which is going to position you to be able to get your own land sooner rather than later and get you out of the city, which was the right choice.
We already made some plays. We've got I mean, I don't want to go into all the details of everything that we did, but we are fully bugged out of the city at this point.
You also have a war pig. It's a different kind of war pig.
I have a different kind of war pig. Mine will sustain me comfortably for a lot longer than yours.
Mine will not. Mine will not.
Well, it will eventually. You have to build it, and I bought one that was 99% complete already.
I did prove that it's worthy of a 2,000-mile journey with very little very little
kind of the
major
same
complications.
recurring issue, right? Just kind of the same recurring.
Well,
system
it was
getting ironed out,
same system, different issues. So like one time, the retrofitted exhaust that we built to replace the exhaust that broke and melted airlines in my first YouTube video, which if you haven't seen that, you got to go check that out. That's just a good time. But again, Free State Homestead. I'm just gonna keep plugging that channel because I gotta grow it. Anyway,
yeah, do it.
But
you're filming like crazy. You're gonna have all kinds of cool stuff coming out soon.
Oh, we're filming like mad. I've got truck build stuff. We got homestead stuff. I've got 50 chickens showing up on Monday. 50 meat chickens showing up on Monday. So there's going to be videos on how to build brooders. There's going to be videos on how to build chicken tractors. There's going to be, and then I've got another 50 showing up in 4 weeks. So when those get out of the brooder and go into the chicken tractor, the next batch will hit the brooder and so on. And that'll be really cool. We've got pigs coming next Friday. So there's going to be videos on building a solar powered, mobile, pig pen that's going to move around the property and clear land. We're going to use pigs. We're going to turn brush into bacon. That's what we're doing. Turning brush into bacon. I just named the series right now. That just happened. So seriously, if you want to learn more about prepping, you want to watch Free State Homestead or you want to be a patron and you'll get to see it a day before everybody else. You be a patron of this show.
Oh, have you got that all set up now? You got your Patreon account going for?
No. I'm gonna still preload into ours for a while. For a while.
Prep pastor stuff, yeah.
So the prep pastors patrons will get it a day early. So
cool.
Yep. Sorry, I'm responding to my brother-in-law who was trying to help me find some internet in this town. I didn't find it.
Yeah. I'm watching the feed. It doesn't look too bad on YouTube.
Good.
Long delay, but
so we got folks watching. Hey, out there, internet land. So the cool thing is the truck had two kinds of brake issues. We had exhaust spun around and melted 2 lines again. But I had packed. Prepping. We packed all the extra parts and line that we needed to get that going again. So we were able to, within 30 minutes, be able to be like, blop, blop, spliced in some line, called it good. Now the next day we scrambled pretty hard to find more replacement parts because we did not want to be caught with our pants down after we used all the backup stuff. Right. So we got more line, we got more couplers and things like that at a Freightliner. It was great. After I almost choked the life out of an O'Reilly's or a Napa. It was a Napa guy in Idaho. I killed no one. I killed nobody. I was very proud of myself, but I wanted to. And so anyway, got that fixed, and then we lost a brake pod. And if you know anything about air brakes, the brake pod is where the diaphragm is, where that actuates the brakes and stuff. So we dumped one of those, and it started leaking air really, really bad. I've got new diaphragms coming. Brake pods are very dangerous to bust into, so I'm going to film a video just in case it's where if I die, we want video credit for it. So yeah. Everybody's like, just get new pods. I'm like, that's not how we roll. We fix. If it's broke around here, we fix it.
Yeah. Well.
So anyway,
that's good.
We made it.
Yeah, Scooter Adventure has been pretty wild. I've been watching a little bit. We've been pretty out of touch too, but.
Pastor Kirk Q2 on Instagram. I post a lot of stuff there before I post it as a short. I've been breaking the internet on Instagram, so I mean between 6 and 8,000 views of my reels on Instagram. So that's been pretty rad. Everything for reasons why we bugged out of Oregon, like the hypersexualization of children. That's gonna get us kicked off of YouTube.
I watched you get I would say I watched on Facebook. You got lit up by a couple of weirdos in Oregon over
Yeah, I just said, hey, you can have it. It's yours. It's yours. You win, I lose, but I win. So it's okay.
Yeah, right.
You can have it. You can have Oregon. It's yours. I don't want it anymore.
I agree.
And if my friends that I love are crazy enough to stay there, I'll pray for them, and I'll pray that God gives them wisdom.
People get called to, minister and preach in China.
And if that is the case, if they are called to be there, Oman, I say that they should stay there.
Saudi Arabia, right?
Yep.
All very similar places to Oregon.
Yep. But I mean, I've got friends, let's not just pin it down to Oregon. I've got friends that are in Minnesota that need to get out. I've got friends that are in California and Washington that need to get out. And they either are too stubborn. They are, hey, the Ukrainians saw the writing on the wall, right? They knew, and they waited until they had to leave their country with nothing. Or that they couldn't, and they were conscripted into a corrupt army. So
I had during our month-long break here, I had some pretty extensive interactions with Ukrainian from Mariupol. I think I told a little bit about it, and he had some very different views on that entire situation, having been a part of a family who fled the Ukraine under persecution from Ukraine, from the current power of Ukraine.
Yeah.
Having been burned out and chased away and persecuted religiously and otherwise. And he felt like Russia was saving people like him. So he had a very different viewpoint. Now, he condemned the killing of civilians and everything else, and he also doesn't understand why our country is just now waking up to the fact that this has been going on for 3 years.
Well, I was just gonna say, man, I have a friend. I'll call him an acquaintance. We're not close.
Right.
But I was definitely on the prayer support for him because he was in the process of adopting his son. The first time Russia invaded and took the Crimea area, and he flew in. Basically, they told him, this is your one opportunity to get your son. You will be here for between a week and a month. We don't know how long it's going to take. There's a solid chance you're going to get killed. And he was like, God has called me to adopt this little boy. I'm coming for my son. Huh?
He's like, all right, I'm there.
I'm there. I mean, like, come on.
You got guns for me, right?
Hide and watch, son. Hide and watch. I mean, like, tell me where the stockpile's at. Have we heard anything from Yeager? Have we heard anything out of Yeager? Did he go get himself blowed up in Ukraine?
Oh, no. Yeah, I heard he's back already. They let him in. Didn't really let him do much. He's back already.
Okay.
Big PR for them. Probably did very little. But
Okay, I've got a Facebook.
Nothing. Nobody's chatting on YouTube.
I've got a Facebook user that says, my wife is a chicken wrangler. Shouldn't have said that on a public platform. Your chickens are now compromised. I don't know who that's it. I don't know who you are, but that's awesome.
Unless you know the Creeper Squirrel bug out location, it'd be all right.
Yeah, exactly. They know I'm in Missouri. That's where they know that I'm at.
Make sure that you're recognizable, wearing recognizable clothing, and probably better not wear a mask.
Yeah, you better not wear a mask. That's not a good idea.
It's a good way to get shot.
So the day that we got here, or no, the day before we got here, some friends of mine moved from Japan back to Missouri. Friends that I love dearly. Well, half of the family. The other half of the family is still waiting on visas, so they got to go back for a few more months. but he's been trying to get home for so long, and he, like, you could just see, like, his face, his countenance is just a whole nother. We had dinner with him the other night. Like, he just, you know, he knew he was free. But when they crossed out of international airspace into U.S. airspace, they were like, you may now take off your masks. And he was telling me a story that in Japan, I guess a couple months ago, the Japanese government came out and said, you don't have to wear a mask anymore. Except the Japanese people are like, nobody wants to go first. And so he had a client on his last day who had never seen his face because he had to wear a mask and a face shield.
Oh my goodness.
To teach language, to teach English, by the way. Think about how hard that must have been.
Yeah.
So anyway, she was just like, can I please see your face? Like, during this lesson, could you take your mask off for me?
So I can learn something for the first time, right?
Maybe, yeah, maybe. So anyway, and so of course he did, because he was like, what are they gonna do, fire me? You know, exactly. And that's just a good time. So anyway, yeah, he's pumped to be back in the land of the free. I love the fact that I'm back in a state, the first state to illegalize abortion. They had standing laws. Oh, nice. They had standing laws in place that if Roe v. Wade was ever overturned, boink,
yeah,
it was
14
like
states.
Yeah, there's been a bunch. Yeah, there's been a bunch. So there's been some violence and things like that, but you know, it's okay.
Abortion is legal all the way to 9 months here.
Oh yeah, that's how Oregon and I mean that Oregon is now starting abortive tourism. They're going to fly people. They're going to spend Oregonian tax dollars.
State sponsor it.
They're
going to take your money if you're paying taxes in Oregon.
Yep, they're going to take state
bring
tax
people
dollars
in so they can kill their babies in your state. So
and fly them
congratulations,
home.
You're, as a tax-paying Oregonian, killing babies.
Fly them.
You're killing them.
Put them up in a hotel and fly them home. That is what they're going to do.
Hey, if you do nothing, you're just as responsible.
You're complicit. You are complicit.
You are. Yep.
I mean, one of my next videos of the why did we bug out of Oregon is something we talked about a month or two ago on the show, when we talked about the fact that in the state of Oregon, your children can be taken out of public school without your knowledge, taken to an abortion clinic, given an abortion, put back into public school, and the only thing you will ever know is that they have a tummy ache and are going through some kind of emotional trauma. You'll never know until
that. Yeah,
they don't even tell you that. They don't even have to tell you that.
Nope.
It's ridiculous.
If your kid can hide it well, then you'll never know. Just go kill your grandbaby without your knowledge.
Yep, that's exactly right. And emotionally destroy your child without your knowledge.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's crazy stuff. So I mean, I'm working through a list of about 10.
Kids to be in public school. They're not all bad. It's a broad brush, but it's not everywhere.
We're gonna give it a try. We're gonna give it a try here. You know, based on the fact that we know how many believer Christian, you know, how many believer teachers there are. We're gonna give it a try.
And yeah, you got some insight, and you're in a small town, right? So
yep, very small.
Few people. Yep. I mean, we fled. I mean, really across the whole western U.S., but even around Alaska, to settle in one of the last very conservative school districts where it was possible to raise children in a conservative fashion, where some of the teachers at the time that we got into the school district were still publicly professing Christians, publicly supported veterans. There was a lot of very good things, still very libertarian, because this is Alaska. We're very libertarian here, just which I'm okay with too. Do what you want, be left alone.
I don't know.
I can follow that line a lot of the time, but
except for murdering babies.
Well, again, nobody's forcing it, and stuff like that's not going down in our school district yet. And there's only like 2 places in this whole state where the whole like drag queens with children things is not just encouraged but state funded, and for
Yeah.
the most part it's not state funded, it's locally city funded, and of course those two towns are Juneau and Anchorage.
Of course.
But everyone in the entire state knows that Juneau and Anchorage is like that.
You get
It's
a
kinda
little bit of that
you
up in
want
Fairbanks
to
too
live
now,
in
don't you?
Gomorrah or Sodom. We just call them Anchorage and Juneau, so they're
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
You know when you're there, you know when your children are going to school district there, what they're
Dude,
gonna
it
be
is.
involved.
It says Anchorage. I've never been to Juneau, but Anchorage for me is as oppressive spiritually as Portland or Las Vegas. Like I walk
Surely.
into those cities and I feel a spiritual
spiritual
heaviness.
oppression. Yep.
I feel
You
it
do.
like sit on my chest. You walk into Las Vegas, you got porn all over the street. It, you know,
Yep.
you feel a spiritual pressure on your life. And I felt you absolutely feel that in Anchorage. I was so excited when the first time I was flying into Anchorage, come see you, come do the mission trip thing, fishing mission, you know, do that deal, right? Coming in with a group of folks from the church. And I remember hitting Anchorage going, oh, this is not what I expected in Alaska, man.
I don't think I warned you either. Yeah.
You know, you didn't warn me, you know, and we slept
It's
on the
just
floor of the
it's-
church
it's
that
like a-
night and
Oh yeah, in Anchorage. Yeah.
Paid
and that
$900
church
for
that
Taco Bell.
building was a refuge for a long time, but yeah. Especially after we
yeah, but our denomination
the
closes refuges now. They don't do.
That's
they don't-
true. Once we got the child molesters off the church council, took away master keys from the known child molesters on sexual predator lists. Once we had finally cleaned that up, and got health,
Yeah.
then well,
Then the F word came and closed it. So, you know.
well, to be fair, I was given the choice.
Well,
didn't
but
want
you
my
were never
children
going to get to
to
keep
grow
that building. You never got the choice of keeping the building.
That's true. That was
you
revealed the last
got,
weekend
it was
that-
going to they were like, you can absolutely keep the church as long as you don't want it to be in this building.
Yeah. Or come up with $1 million, just
Or-
now.
Yeah. To correct somebody else's sin.
Well, at least 2 of them had taken the money themselves. So
Right.
not the
So-
last one. Don't.
so
If
let's get
anybody
back
knows
to-
what we're talking about, not the pastor that I took over for. He was
No. He might have been
In fact,
sleepy
he
and
stepped
neglectful,
away
but he
when
wasn't a
kinda
criminal.
found- He kind of came into the light and he stepped away.
Yeah.
It wasn't him.
So
Nothing he did.
let's get back to prepping because I don't have a whole lot
Do
more
it.
time. So I'm watching a lot of things in the news right now. China is getting super mouthy.
Runs on the
They are absolutely headed toward Taiwan. We're gonna do nothing about it because we are an occupied nation. But I say that they're talking pretty serious smack. Russia and China. The really what you need to start watching is you gotta not get tunnel vision in this deal. Stop focusing on Russia and China. You need to look at the entire BRICS system. Okay, so Brazil, Russia, India, and I almost said Canada, but that's almost true, but it's not.
Canada, Cuba, it's all the same.
China. So pay attention to those BRICS nations. They're the ones that are actively trying to kill the U.S. dollar. And I know you've seen a little bump in the dollar, and you think it's strong. It's getting strong again. It's not. This is the calm before the storm. I think you think you've seen a little bit of relief at the gas pump. You haven't. It's going to get twice as bad in September, October, November. So, right now, the administration is selling our strategic oil reserves to China. They're not turning it into gas for us. So understand,
It's treason. They're committing treason.
100%. And the fact that the company that brokered it was that Hunter Biden has ties to, that is we're talking high treason at that point. Like, well, it's
at this point it would be more surprising if it wasn't related somehow corruption wise to,
10% for the big guy. 10% for the big guy.
Yeah. Well,
But,
one of Biden's pseudonyms that he used to do some pretty nasty stuff online under an alias. But that's just come to light in one of the latest breaches of Apple security on Hunter's phone.
oh, I didn't know this.
So yeah, Biden did a whole lot in his younger years, illicit online things through a pseudonym, and that's now been tied directly to Biden now. This pseudonym.
Ooh, what was the pseudonym?
To
Do you
catch
know?
a predator type things.
No shocker there. The sniffer.
No shocker.
The sniffer in chief.
Yeah, no surprises.
Look at the way that guy interacts with children, and has for years. He is not just a cringy old grandpa. That dude is gross to the full, deep, dark levels.
But he likes tacos.
But he does like tacos.
That's what I heard.
He
Or
does
at least
like
that's
tacos.
what his wife said.
Yeah.
You know, the one who was the
Hispanics are as
babysitter
unique as
underage.
breakfast tacos.
The underage babysitter. It was like a whole Celine Dion situation. What a god awful family. It's just sickening. It's so
Oh, they're-
evil and corrupt, and Christians that vote that way. I just can't fathom it. They're how do you call yourself a Christian? How do you tell people that you follow Christ and
Right.
then support? And I mean,
Yep.
yeah. If you're a
It's
baby
true.
killer, if you're a Biden supporter, if you anything in the Democratic Party, you seriously need to question your faith, because I sure as hell do.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so 100%.
So there's
There's no disagreement whatsoever. So I was going to bring a prop tonight, but I was in a hurry and I dashed out of the house and I forgot to grab it. I was going to get a big
Okay.
C clamp. Okay. So
All right.
if those of you out in the internet land who has never seen a C clamp, okay, so it's a piece of metal shaped like a C, and at one end it has a screw, and there's a very coarsely threaded bolt that runs through a threaded portion of the C, and you use it to press things together. Some of you might just call it a clamp, but that's pretty generic. But think of any kind of clamp.
Yeah.
And what I want you to imagine right now is I want you to imagine your life and the people's lives that you care about being squeezed between potential World War III and total economic collapse of this nation. Okay? The dollar being completely devalued. And I just want you to just every day it all gets pressed a little closer. So I want to ask you to some really practical questions, internet land. What are you doing?
Where's
to be
your
ready for
R2D2?
this? Where's your
Where's your
R2D2?
R2D2? You're in the garbage compactor.
Yeah,
You keep putting up your,
and you're getting pressed together. Okay.
Who's your R2D2?
So what are you doing to get out of the who's your R2D2? What are you doing? Uvalde showed you no one's coming for you. No one's coming to help you. You are
Not only
going
that,
to be on
If
your
you've
own.
allowed your children and loved ones to be in a situation like that, they're not going to let you help.
If you
either.
are not, if listen, your family, your kids, your grandparents, the people that you have, like right now, I have my core group of people. All right, my core group of people just expanded a little bit in the context of who's on my hilltop, who's in my town, who's in my region, right? Like that I plan on like trying to help out of the trash compactor. Okay? What are you doing to get ready? Are you listening to the leftists that are running this country, and they're telling you that food shortages are coming? They're telling you that food shortages are coming. Okay? They're telling you that supply chain is going to get worse, not better. They're not even trying to hide it from you anymore. Okay?
Anymore. They're just going to blame somebody else.
They're gonna blame somebody else, but they're telling you who it is.
Are they still saying Putin's responsible for everything?
I'm sure they are. I got to tell you, because they're taking the sign down right now. It is 2022. I'm sitting at a McDonald's in the civilized world. I love it. This is where I live now. The sign says, now you have to understand where this McDonald's is. This McDonald's is strategically located essentially
Busy
across
road,
the
actually.
street. Busy road.
Okay.
Essentially across the street. You could actually probably see there's a Dairy Queen over there, okay?
Okay. Dairy Queen.
So the McDonald's sign, they're taking it down right now. Probably somebody got in trouble. It says, "What is a milkman in pantyhose?" A Dairy Queen. It says that on the sign right now. That
Throwing
is
shade across the street. That's awesome.
they are throwing shade across the street, and I love it. That is
Yeah,
a
you
good
almost have to
time.
go buy a McFlurry now, take it home for a trip or something.
I gotta. Yeah, they're gonna come meet me here, and we're gonna drive to
Oh.
my sister's or my niece's softball game. So I'm very excited about that. But no, seriously, Internet Land, tell us in the comment section, what are some strategies? What are you doing? I mean, like you just heard me. We got pigs coming. We got chickens coming. Like we got rabbits that we're prepping to get rabbits here shortly. Can you make your own protein? My sister has a rockin' garden. I sent her money when she was planting her garden, and I was like, double it. Just double it. We can't do anything. I mean, she's got 40 tomato plants. We're pulling squash and zucchini and all the stuff off of it is amazing. We're gonna put up so much.
That, so I just keep buying the cans.
There you go.
For some reason, Walmart's just kicking ass. Today I got another, as much as they would sell me, flats of green beans and peas, 54 cents and 62 cents a can.
See, I had to halt. I had to halt my food buying because we were moving. Obviously, right? We were moving 2,000 miles. And I'm just going to tell you right now, there was a grumpy old man in my family. I don't want to name any names. But there's a grumpy old man in my family.
Didn't understand why you were moving.
that was not impressed by the amount of food and ammunition that was being loaded into that trailer. I think I heard the words, "If that's another GD box of ammo." Because he was the guy in the trailer stacking stuff. Like, I understand. I get it. I understand, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, he was totally convinced that we were way overweight on the trailer. I don't think we actually were, and it doesn't matter. We were private. We didn't have to go through scales. So anyway, it was
just
a good time.
Breaking stuff, but yeah.
yeah. We were worried about popping tires and things like that, but thank God we didn't have any flats. Like, it was great. We only had to take one wheel and tire off to work on that airpan or work on that.
Tires are a situation, and I know that you have been struggling with some impossible tires, and I kind of probably ended up in a miraculous situation. Right place, right time. Got some tires that cost about $1,000 a piece, right? So you can imagine they're the size of children. You got a bunch of those you needed. I had 6 that I needed to get. I got right place, right time. Was able to get them. I think I was only out about $3,500, which is a miracle for us. And you ended up getting kind of what you needed, just what you needed, and pretty good deals on them. So, and you don't want to be buying tires. I mean, we said this back in whatever it was, last fall, I think, on the Prep Pastor show. We talked about, look, there are these rubber shortages and they're real. Combine that with COVID and all the factories, because making tires is not necessarily considered essential in a lot of places.
No.
So many of our tires are made in China and Korea, where they don't care if it's essential or not. They're shutting down. Get your tires now, get your tires now, get your tires now. And I mean, I've had a bunch of used tires and I made bank selling my used tires, stuff that didn't fit, stuff I didn't, for vehicles I didn't have anymore. I was able to put a bunch of cash away from those tire sales. And I don't know about you, but I converted all mine to silver. So I turned big piles of rubber that I couldn't use into stacks of silver.
I'm converting all of my liquid cash into a house. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just trying to set my son up with my wife and kid up with a place to live for generations to come. That's the goal right now.
Forever.
So we do, we've talked about it on the show before. We are big believers in buying silver, and now is a good time to do it because it's dropping.
It's still dropping, so treat it like a falling asset, and we don't know where the bottom is.
Right. But if you
keep in
watch
mind-
it, make a turn, grab it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's
But
historically,
no.
it's still not like the lowest it's ever been. It's a 2-year low. We're at a 2-year low for precious metals right now. There were a couple of spike drops in 2020 that were lower.
Yeah.
And before that, it was, pretty similar to what it is right now. But when you compare it against inflation, that's the real thing.
Right.
Back then, we didn't have the same types of inflation happening. So you're really not going to go wrong unless you are a person who is buying silver in order to hang on to it and then sell it and try to make money that way.
Right.
There's too much margin still for that to be a
No,
smart
that's
thing
not.
to do.
Yeah, that's not a thing. Maybe your kids will make money on the silver you buy. Maybe if we don't have a total system collapse that we have to use
Just
it
get
like
enough,
real money.
as a hedge when you are no longer allowed to operate within the monetary system that is
The other
coming.
thing that I'm getting really excited about are goldbacks. I'm gonna probably start buying some goldbacks.
Are you? We talked about that about a year ago. I got
Yeah.
really excited about them as well.
Yeah.
The premium on them is so astronomically high that it just didn't make sense.
The premium's
still.
the premium's coming down because they've got their system done. They've got their system in place. Their premium is coming down.
Is your state producing them
I
as a
know-
currency? There's about 4 that do now.
I don't know if our
It might
state
be. I could
is.
see your state
Yeah,
doing it.
check it
I mean,
out.
My
You
state
could-
is not, but
Yeah, state. I know Utah is. I
Nevada
want to say
is.
Nevada is.
it's accepted as currency there.
Say that again.
Yep. It's accepted as currency there. I
It
think
is.
Idaho was, may still
Oh,
be. I'm
Maybe
unsure.
so. Yeah.
So some of these big mining states do it.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, anywhere where Mormonism is big, that's
They're
where
gonna
they
do
do
it.
it.
They're gonna do it.
The
Hey,
Mormons are
you
big
know,
into
just
it.
because I disagree with them about theology doesn't mean they aren't freaking
Good
smart
prepper.
when it comes to prepping.
They're good preppers. If
They're
you have a
great
Mormon
preppers.
pantry in your area,
You should be hanging out at the Mormon pantry, 100%. Get in
yeah,
there,
besides pray for 'em.
volunteer.
I mean,
Yeah, get in there, talk
Quietly.
about Jesus, and
Carefully.
yeah,
they get a lot of rewards in their version of heaven, which will be in hell, that
easy.
if they convert Christians. So just like anybody who's a follower of Satan, if you convert a Christian to follow Satan and give up on Jesus,
I think there's a lot of Mormons
There's
that
some
just love Jesus. They have no clue, but some of their leadership, they're definitely got a special place in the hot spot. But
right. Well,
but
I mean,
hey-
there's Catholics like that too. So
well, I suppose that's true.
there's a lot of Catholics that actually love
There's a
Jesus.
lot of Catholics like that, actually. But no, listen. All that being said, before we go down a deep dark
What
rabbit
was that?
hole where we offend a whole bunch of people, the bottom, which is
It's
fine.
been a while. I gotta make up for time here.
Yeah, you got to make up for time. But I'll say this. You guys need a
ammunition.
plan. Ammunition.
You can get it right now.
You can
Guns,
get it
you
right
can still
now.
get them right now.
It's not cheap, and it's never going to be. If you're waiting for the prices of ammo to drop, it's not. It's never going to drop. This is the new normal. This is the new cheap. Understand me that it's not about expensive or cheap. It is about available. Available.
Yeah.
I just picked up a 30-30 for my kiddo. He doesn't know it yet. And it was like I was doing it to help out a friend, and, as I was leaving, the other place and things like that, I was like, oh man, this will be way cool. You can't get 30-30 ammo. Forget about it. I've got about
really?
100 rounds of brass, so I'm gonna go buy some dies and try my hand at loading it.
Yeah, I gave away. I did kind of a similar thing. I needed money to move, and coming back to Alaska, 30-30 was never going to be a thing again. So I made a deal with a family member, and I gave dies brass, probably 1,000 rounds,
Oh, that's
all
great.
with a well set up Marlin.
That's great. So
That's
let me ask you, Phil. So right now, what are you seeing in the world of ammo? I know you're hanging out at an FFL. You got a new buddy. You got a new
My
friend.
FFL is building his manufacturer facility. So
That is right.
I'm going to be in a building with somebody manufacturing ammunition. So much so that I may even contemplate purchasing firearms in the types of ammunition that he's making. Because right now, I'm not a 5.56 guy, and I'm not a 9mm guy.
Yeah, you've never been those things. Well, they're
But-
they're not effective for fighting the aminals that you have, right? And neither of those rounds are good for
to
fighting
be fair,
grizzly bears.
I mean, modern 9mm will put crackheads down just fine.
Oh yeah.
And 5.56 is still very effective if you can put it on skin anywhere that skin is exposed.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I don't love it. I have a couple 5.56s. I don't love them. I prefer things to start with a 3. So
Yeah, I like 30 cal stuff.
I'm 30 cal all day long, from the lowest end of blackout all the way up to 300 Win Mag, and all the 308s in between.
Yep.
It's just what our family does. But
Yep.
there's some really, really cool 9mm out there in the world.
Yep.
And it's getting a little bit tempting, because if I have access to a guy that's churning out 10,000 rounds a day,
Yep.
I don't know. I may have to reconsider.
If he's
So,
in your
saying
mag,
it
you
now,
should at least have a loadout.
Maybe.
Hey,
Maybe.
real quick product review before we get off
good
here. I picked up a road proof 120 watt power strip inverter to power my laptop while in the truck, and this is hot garbage. I give this 2 thumbs down. It's terrible.
Right off Amazon? That looks like it came from a truck stop.
It came from an AutoZone. Yeah, I plugged it in to power my laptop for this show, and it cycles, and so my laptop goes boom.
It's on.
Boom,
It's off. It's on. It's off.
boom.
I'm up. They see me. I'm down. I'm
Yep.
up. They see me. I'm down.
Yep, exactly.
Hey, it's
I'm
very
up to
tactical.
see it. It's very tactical. It's tactical battery charging is what it was.
Tactical battery charging.
Bottom line, absolute
Like
hot
Coke
garbage.
style.
I do not recommend. Now, if you were gonna run,
Did
I
your
don't
truck not have one built in?
no, dude, this is an XLT, dude. This ain't got the juice.
And
It ain't got the juice. But I think there's gonna be one that gets wired in really soon.
okay.
So, but anyway, no. So
You may
that's
as
just
well.
today's product review. If you're needing to charge things on the go, like if you were in the middle of a bug out and you needed to charge an electronic device, or you needed to power a little mini fridge, this ain't the
Yeah.
one.
No.
This ain't the one, and today ain't the day. So, listen, guys, I love you all, and I'm super sorry that we haven't been able to do shows, but we have been in absolute full-blown bug out. Hopefully by next week, I will be able to broadcast live from my build site, because you'll just see dirt and trees.
So you're gonna have some interwebs getting
I'm
connected
hoping.
there.
I am hoping. We have a couple of
We're gonna do the
options.
Starlink.
Well,
I just got the email. I can buy Starlink.
Starlink is available here, and my brother-in-law has all the equipment that I could buy him out of it. It is a lot more expensive than the Verizon setup, but the Verizon stuff was not very stable. And like I had to drive to town to get enough LTE to make my phone into a hotspot to be able to do the broadcast tonight. I'd love to hear, those of you who are watching, I'd love to hear about whether or not the quality's been okay for you tonight, broadcasting like that. But yeah, so buy food, buy animals that make food, or you can turn into food. Buy ammo, buy silver.
Food.
Get out of your weird leftist places that you live and get to the country. In the words of the Bible, come out of her, my people.
That's a Bear Independent thing.
Yep.
So
Come out of her, my people.
yeah, he's been losing his mind this week too.
You know what? I haven't watched any bear in the last few weeks. What have I been watching? I'm gonna plug a few people that I've been
Do it.
I like the news coming out of Canadian Prepper has been really thorough. Just remember, and I say it every time I reference his channel, he has a store. He's got a store. He's motivated to make you want to spend money.
He's in a different country.
Say that again.
He's in a different country.
He's in a different country, but he talks about America a lot. So
Just
you
all
gotta
Canadians do.
weigh his stuff. but the global news and the global intel that he's getting, the stuff that he's getting out of Europe, I've appreciated. Southern Prepper 1 has been doing boots on the ground. He's been doing inflation tracking. He's not been inflaming people. He's just going, this is what chicken cost. This is what it costs now.
This week.
Bear pushed him this week?
Independent pushed it this week.
If you don't know who Dave is, so Dave is the author of a couple of books.
His style's a little rough for me, but yeah.
His style's a little rough. He's an Army combat veteran. Got mad props for that. His son is a current active duty Army guy, but I'll say this: his boots on the ground reports that he's doing once or twice a day is really just about inflation tracking and stuff you need to be paying attention to. And the other one, if you want to talk about inflammatory but is getting some good information out there, is Full Spectrum Survival. Take a look at those guys. Pay attention to them. He's a believer. He's a passionate Jesus follower. So is Dave from Southern Prepper 1. Now Nate up in Canadian, he is actively not a believer. He is very passionately not a believer. He doesn't crap on believers and he doesn't talk to us like we're idiots. But he doesn't understand where we're coming from. He is more of a left of center prepper. So at least he's an honest left of center guy. But he does get good intel, and a lot of people around the world listen to him. They send him stuff. That's all I'm saying about him.
I think he's part of an info package. Yeah, he's part of it. He's a piece.
Yeah, he's a piece. So take a look at those guys. Okay. Anybody you throw out there that you wanna plug?
I'm not the world's biggest fan of Bear Independent.
Oh, but he's good stuff though.
But his intel network is significantly better than I think probably all the ones that and partially because he also includes some of those sources in his intel. He actually has full-time paid staff.
He does.
That work intel. So
and he's got a really great company that he runs for medical equipment.
He does.
And
which just supports the nonprofit that he runs for getting children out of sexual slavery.
I gotta give him props for that.
He is one of those that no bullshit, boots on grounds, weapons in hands, goes and pulls kids out of those situations, and then also for the rest of their lives takes care of them.
Yep.
And not one or two who did it once. He has an organization that does this full time.
Grindstone Ministries, right?
I think that is correct. That sounds correct to me.
Yeah.
So Ministries. He's the real deal. His network he's the face of a network of a bunch of people that are the real deal. Nope, that's a good one to listen to. Again, he's hard for me. I'm not going to call it Hebrew roots, but he kind of goes down that road sometimes. I don't like that. Dangerous.
Theologically, he and I don't get along, but
we don't research and know.
Yeah,
but
he gets good stuff.
But he's a good guy. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, less and less on YouTube because YouTube's just removing them.
Yeah, they're just pulling them. You're not going to get a lot of political content from me on the on Free State Homestead. You're going to get chickens and pigs and land and building and house building and things like that. I need that to monetize.
That's a YouTube tour. That's a YouTube intended, right?
Yeah, I need that to monetize. I need that channel to grow and turn into an income until God sees fit to provide another church for us to pastor. So, and I don't really want God to provide that until we get the house built.
Well, the house is built. Yeah.
I mean, it's in God's hands and it's about God's plans, right? So, but I'm kind of hoping that he doesn't call me, unless it's like a part-time gig at a tiny little church or something like that. That'd be fine. I could teach on Sundays.
I was just having that discussion with my grandmother today, who comes out of our movement, having, her family been saved in the tent revivals of the 20s.
Wow, the Wayback Machine,
and literally born in the movement. So she's in her mid 90s right now, and she was kind of pushing like, why aren't you senior pastoring a church again and things like that. And I'm like, God, I mean, I'm not closing any doors and telling God no, but there's a large part
is corrupt and broken.
That's not something he's telling me to do. So not that I can't or won't. Again, It's
You
just
will.
not on
You
the
will
plate
again.
right this minute. Well, for either one of us, there are other things God's having us do
Right now.
where people get confused when pastors are not preaching from a pulpit
Right.
and leading a church.
Yeah, that somehow
They
we're no
don't
longer
understand
pastors.
heritage ministries, and they don't understand chaplain activities. And it's confusing to people, especially those who have grown up in a brick and mortar traditional church structure. So you just have to learn language that helps them to understand that things like this, what we're doing right this minute, are a part of ministry.
Yeah.
They are part of what we're called to do. And
I'll say
this well.
And I'll say this too, the one thing, if you guys want to pray for me as far as ministry goes, pray that I can plug in with law enforcement in this community. Like I want to, I want to do that.
Restart.
I want to restart.
Struggle every time.
Every time. Well, it took me 4 years to get plugged into law enforcement in the Dallas
community. It's hard to get into. I'm still not in after what are we coming up on 9 years?
Yeah.
In the local, right? The local law enforcement where I'm at.
Yeah.
After 9 years, we're still not there. Now I'm in with the state, and I'm in with other organizations, but the local PD still is not looking for actually credentialed and trained and experienced law enforcement chaplains. They have people who call themselves chaplains. I just met one the other day. She's a realtor. She just told me she was a chaplain. I thought that was very interesting.
Love it. Like, oh, did you go through training? No, I just decided to. I'm a
just
hamburger.
decided to call myself a chaplain because I go to church with some.
I identify as 2022. We can identify as whatever we want, man.
That's true. Hey, that's not new to the realtors though. Man, they are panicking. I don't know about where you are. My brother-in-law is a realtor, and he is not a Christian. He probably doesn't watch the show. We were talking today. I love him to death, and we're able to talk with respect, which is something no other Christians can do in his life. I trying to think of, I don't want to dox him. I can't throw too much out there. There's a pew that just happened for the first time because he's pretty sure they're going to get banned. I just, was able to make that happen. His world has crashed, and which he's fine with. He's not dumb, and we've been helping him in a preparedness mindset. He's been going down this road for about 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
And he has managed to, with the crazy that is happening, so he's really close. He's right in the middle of 2 very crazy states where stuff has been going nuts. And he's been able to put enough away in and out of the system and physically that he's good. So, which is good because, in the end times, those who have not become believers yet, they really need to be prepared.
Correct.
So God can still reach them.
Correct.
When they end up crawling into foxholes. But
yeah, man.
Anyway, getting close to a crash here. We've got full-on indicators of recession. So we've not talked economics because we've been off the show. Of course, we know from our previous shows that I'm very well involved in the economics of not just local area, but the whole country.
Yep.
And we finally have the indicators. So the physical repossession markets of vehicles spiked this last week to levels that are in excess of 2008. So more cars are being repossessed from bad loans and non-payment loans this week than in 2008. So that's one of the huge indicators of a recession. It's usually about 6 months into a recession, which also checks with our previous information and our thoughts. So all indicators are the confirmations things, the things that happen in a market that confirm the recession 6 months in are all happening and have happened. So if anybody was still in doubt, I don't know how you could be with inflation and everything else happening. If there was ever a doubt that we as a country are in inflation, even globally, there you go. And some of these money markets that don't make sense, where we think, like we said, it's not as bad or it's not as bad, it's because other markets are worse.
Yeah.
And so like our value of the dollar versus the euro, it's because they're that much worse than us. So
it's true.
It's sad. It's global. So global recession is here. Food shortages are here. Everything we said was happening. The confirmation that it's happened is now happened. Grab what food you can while you can. That's where we're at.
I would, we've said it before, and I'll say it again. If you can find wheat, buy it.
Yeah, just keep buying it. I keep buying it. I've been getting about 40, 50 pounds a week. You?
Yeah. If you can find it, get it. We just bucketed it up some more that we bought right before we left, and those kinds of things, guys. I fully expect, the areas that are big wheat producers in America, like the Dalles, Oregon, like those areas, they're going to be primed for attack. So please, we are seeing more and more and more. Now we're seeing gas infrastructure being attacked down in Texas, those kinds of things. Listen, there are Homeland Security sites along the Columbia River. You guys that live there, get ready. I'm not saying it's coming. I'm not saying it's definitely happening. I'm saying that you're targets.
It's been a part of the plan for a long time, whether it was the dams for electricity feeding, multiple states, or the water sources. I mean, there were lots of reasons for that whole gorge to have that kind of security attention. But the other one too is just locking in cultures on the I-5 corridor. The I-5 corridor, interstate, has been working to protect themselves from the rest of us for a long time.
Well, and it's funny. You just look at the I-5 corridor, because it's like, what do they grow? They grow grass. They grow a useless crop that
marionberries and blueberries and raspberries.
Okay, the food stuff is fine, but I mean, like, the thousands and thousands and thousands of acres of grass seed so that your lawn can look nicer. I mean, like it they make sod, right?
Such a cash.
They could be growing food, and they choose to grow something that you cut down in your yard instead of feeding it.
To be fair, I-5 corridor is also the entire San Joaquin Valley of California. So, I mean, historically that has been enormous, but that valley is so crippled by drought and COVID regulation and everything else that the farmers there are just dying. The farmers and ranchers, I mean, get out of California.
Oh, yeah. If you're still trying to grow things, in California, like, what is wrong with you? Sell that land to a developer and get the hell out of there. What's going on?
There's land available other places. Alaska is finally, as a state, opening up new farmland. We've got some huge developments here. Good things are happening. We're working our way towards energy independence. If only we could get Anchorage and Juneau out of the way.
Although Russia did start throwing some shade, just reminding America that they've got things on our side of the pond that they could start taking back as well. And it's like, whoa, you don't even know what kind of fight you're trying to pick with them Alaskans up there. They got lots of bullets.
Yeah, we do have lots of bullets, and making more.
Yeah.
So,
I'll say this.
I mean, a bunch of us would really welcome that fight, but
it wouldn't be good, though. It wouldn't be good.
No.
A lot of people will die if that happens.
I suppose that's what they say. That we've seen Russia's hand. Basically, they suck.
I don't think we do. I don't think we have. You and I have disagreed about that from the beginning. I think they're sending the conscripts. I think they're sending the old stuff.
No, we know that to be true.
I think they're watching our hand. I think they're studying us.
Oh, of course. And not only that, but Biden's going to have emptied our oil reserve, given away all of our javelins, given away all of our arms, deployed our best and brightest over to Poland and all the other surrounding communities, and left our whole backside wide open like a set of Christmas pajamas.
Yep.
That's just Biden. He likes backsides that are wide open.
I can't disagree with you. I can't disagree with you.
It's good to be in a flyover location. I'll tell you what, it's a good time to be living in a flyover. You got a lot of time to kind of catch up to what's happening and get up to speed as everybody else.
I got no strategic targets around me, man. I got no strategic targets around me. I'm just saying that the prevailing winds, and it might be hot.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a lot hotter when those other places start going in the dark.
You may as well just sell all that IOSat then and, make some money. Because you still can't get it.
I'm going to probably keep it.
I have enough that by the time we run out, we'll have already died.
Oh, yeah.
It only works for so long.
Yeah. Really for me, it's about Trip. I'm old enough, it's about my son.
Doesn't matter as much.
load him
Yep.
up on it, you know. So we'll be in good
Which
shape.
is to be able to have babies, you better have some iodine tablets.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I'd like to be a granddad one day. All right, Internet Land, we love you. That's an hour. I'm sorry for the short show. I'm sorry that we've been in full bug out for the last 5 weeks or so. But we got the shows back up and rolling. Patrons, you're gonna start seeing some
Good.
content that is just for you. Early for you. Thanks for continuing to give and to support. And then later on, in about a month or so, you will see some patron stuff from my channel as well. But I love you. You guys have a great night. Phil, go hug your family for me.
Where's our outro?
Get prepped.
Too late.